Hi, this is Dr. Will Horton, and this is the ultimate fat loss for you hypnosis for weight loss. In other words, you change your mind to change your body. You have to change your mind to change your body. And the reason this is so important is you need to change from the inside out. Now, in this webinar, the reason we're bringing it to you this way, it's to give you an overview of why this program is different than anything else out there and why you should try this if everything else you've done has ever failed. Now, what's interesting, I've been doing this for many, many years, and I've never quite packaged it in this kind of format. So it's important for me to get you the information that you need. So at the end of this, I'm going to give you a free session so you can experience a radical change just on one little 20-minute session just for watching this and following along and giving me your feedback. So when you think about this, first thing I have to ask, do you dream of being naturally thin? Do you know that it's not your fault? Do you realize that others have a vested interest in keeping you fat? Look, it sounds corny, but I've been there. I've had to lay on the bed to zip up my pants. But together we can stop the insanity. So the first question is, what do you want? Now, a little bit about me and why I have some expertise in this area. First, I've been an alcohol and addiction counselor for over 35 years, which is important because if you've tried diets and failed, or the diets that work for most people and fail for you, maybe you need to treat this somewhat like an addiction. It's not that it is an addiction. You need to treat it like an addiction. I mean, you can live the rest of your life without alcohol or drugs, but you still have to eat. So it's somewhat of a different challenge. But I'm also the world's top NLP and hypnosis trainer. I'm a former competitive martial artist. I've been an actor for over 40 years now and over 125 plays, several films, and I love it. I'm a professional speaker. I'm also a licensed clinical psychologist. I've hypnotized over 20,000 people one-on-one and hundreds of thousands in groups. And the reason I say that is a lot of what I do, basically, we have to be honest, how you look is important. If you want to be an actor, you want to be a professional speaker, you want to be a motivational person, people judge you by how you look, whether that's right or wrong. It just is. But that brings up a big thing about how we've changed in just a couple of generations. Here's a picture of two actors. The one on the one side is Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas, who was the biggest actor in the 1950s, Mr. Hollywood, Mr. Stud Muffin, whatever you want to call him. All right, but look how thin he was, and yet he played Spartacus and was, the rugged cowboy. He played all these parts. That was the look. That was normal. All you have to do is watch a 1950s movie and you see how thin everyone was. And the person on the other side is Chris Evans, Captain America. And you look how big and muscular he is. Now, unfortunately, the media gives us what we think is our ideal body type. Now, if you have the time, the wherewithal, and the resources to look that way, maybe you could do it. But unfortunately, most North American men and Europeans, in fact, the world over, fall in that bottom row, 30% body fat or higher. I'm always amused. I run into people who say, I only have 15% body fat. And, well, if they don't have definition showing in their body, they don't have 15% or less body fat. Right? At 20%, you lose all definition. And most of us are in that 25 or higher percentile. Now, what about women? Here's a picture of the average 1950s woman and today. And all I'm pointing out is how much bigger we've gotten as a species, if you will. So again, do you dream of being naturally thin? Have you tried every diet? Does everything fail? You lose a little bit, you gain it back in a few pounds more. I mean, literally, when you walk in the bookstore, there's Atkins to the zone. So what's the deal? And they all disagree. But it also makes me wonder, why are there so many fat nurses, nutritionists, doctors, even hypnotists? I walk around a lot of hypnosis conferences. I'm like, does anybody here know a hypnotist that could help somebody lose weight? It's kind of sad, and it's true. My friends that are doctors, and as a psychologist, I run with the group, and everybody's bigger. So you have to realize, if the experts don't do it, it's not your fault. So every few years, what they say should work changes. Low fat, low carb, South Beach. I mean, for years they pushed the low fat thing, and we literally blew up, and they all fail. And then what happens? We have battling experts. It's literally the blind leading the blind, which makes one give up hope. So I have to ask, have you given up hope? Because when you lose hope, that breaks my heart. Because as long as you've got hope, you've got a chance. So my good news to you is, have hope. There is a change that can happen. But the number of fat nurses is about 50% or higher. A couple of weeks ago, I was beginning to work on this program, and I was at the hospital visiting a friend. And all I had to do was walk around and look at the nurses. And these are the people that understand nutrition. They've taken medical classes, things like that. And then my friend that was up there, the nutritionist, came to visit him, and she was rather big, let's say. So these are the experts. And then what about the number of overweight hypnotists, NLPers, and personal coaches? So if the people that supposedly have the answers have the problem, there's a fear of asking for help. So what do? I mean, it's really no secret, is it? I mean, you need to alter from the inside out. But maybe you've tried the low-carb diet or the low-fat diet. Then they tell us about high cardio exercise or strength training, weight training, and then you have all the diets, Zone Diet, Atkins, Ornish, South Beach, yada, yada, yada. Then some people try hypnosis and NLP. They get a bump, they get some success, and then it seems to fall. That's what we try, and it doesn't work. Why not? Well, first of all, it's out-of-date information. And then what happens, it's the power of marketing lies. And then there's medical and nutrition lies. They just flat out lie to us based on who's paying. And there's a war going on for your mind. And they're using your genetics against you. You are genetically predisposed to like sweets and high-fat foods. That's the way we're genetically predisposed. It's how we survive for hundreds of thousands of years. And they know that, so they're raising our genetic issues against us. And it starts with the children. They get them high. It's called a higher set point for what they think is sweet. And then, boom, it keeps going up. So you have to have more sugar, more fat. This was really apparent to me back in the 90s. I took a business trip. I was doing a training in Asia. And they found out I loved carrot cake. So they ordered a carrot cake. And I'm like, oh, this will be good. And people were eating it and telling me how good it was. I hadn't ate yet. And then I took a bite. And it was okay. But to me, it wasn't very sweet. And I'm like, I didn't eat the whole thing. And my friend was there that brought me here, who lived in the U.S. for a long time, went to school, Southern California. He said, it's not as sweet as you used to, is it, Doc? And I said, no. He goes, that's the thing. In America, everything has so much sugar and fat, you lose your taste buds. So that's basically using our genetics against us. It sets the higher set point. We want more. And of course, the more sugar, fat, and junk they put in there, the more we get. And there's also the lowering of standards. If everyone around you is fat, it's easier for you to be fat. So this is why we have failure. And your knowledge stops you. You seem to be stuck in place. And these habits are learned very young, whether it's the way you eat, the way you respond to food, your relationship to food, even your relationship to exercise. So you need to get a new reality. So are you getting better or are you getting old? There's people I know in their 60s that could still win bodybuilding competitions, that are still doing triathlons and marathons and things like that. So, that can be a cop-out, But you have to remember, and I tell people I start talking about this, they go, yeah, I know that. Knowing is not doing. That's the mistake of the intellect. I know it, therefore I don't need to do anything. No. I heard a coach say, a football coach that was working with some professional athletes, and he said the number one thing that he will stop a practice is when he's pointing something out to a player. If they go, yeah, I know that, and he'll scream, well, if you know it, why aren't you doing it? And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, this is something, and this was the player was coming to me because he had that habit of saying, yeah, I know that, because he read it in the playbook, he understood it, but he wasn't doing it. So even if you know what you need to do and you're not doing it, that's the mistake of the intellect. So do you dream of being height, weight, proportionate? That's my big thing, is just be height, weight, and proportionate. You may not look like Captain America or Thor or, Scarlett Johansson, but what if you just height, weight, proportionate, and you not just add more years to your life, but you begin to add life to your years? So was your dream stolen, or did someone rob you, or did you give it away? And can you even dare to dream anymore? So you've searched and tried, but it's not your fault, because the correct information's been hidden from you by the food industry, by the diet industry. They make money by keeping you miserable, and this is true. If you search your heart, this is true, because they want failures for lifetime customers. Diabetic supplies, the sugar industry, the diet industry. You find a lot of the diet pills, a lot of the diet programs are owned by the same companies. They recycle them. They come up with something new because people are searching for answers. And there's money in your suffering. There is money in your suffering. So you need to break free. And that's my job. Because I've tried it all. I remember I was at a conference and I couldn't button a pair of pants on one of my favorite suits. And again, I thought back, I'm an athlete, I'm an actor, I'm a speaker. I know how important this is. But I also fell into that lowering of my standards. Everyone else was bigger. It was okay for me to get bigger. I was like, well, I'm not as bad as you'll hear me say later, the number one thing of the ego. I'm not that bad when I can compare them to these people, right? And really, I had too much info in my head. Then I looked around and started thinking about all the fat nurses, nutritionists, hypnotists, doctors that I knew. So I go, I have to do something different. And I had to go back to basics and start over. And again, it's not just what you eat, it's what's eating you. So you have to program yourself from success, from the inside out. That's the answer. And so when diets fail, it's not an addiction because you have to eat to live. Alcohol, drugs, gambling, even sex, if those were your addiction or an addiction, you can live without those. You could live without those. But you have to live to eat. But my question is, do you live to eat or do you eat to live? One of the people that are naturally thin eat to live. They don't focus on their diet. They're not foodies. They're not constantly, planning their dinner at breakfast or everything like that. I worked in an office and there were people that would start planning lunch as soon as we got there. We just maybe had breakfast, or if you're a breakfast eater, and it's like, what do you want for lunch? I don't know. I'm not hungry, right? And then as soon as lunch was over, they'd be talking about, what they were going to do for dinner. And I'm like, and of course this person was rather pudgy. So they were living to eat. That was the highlight of their life. So if that's the case, maybe you need to treat it like an addiction because the food is doing other things besides giving you nutrition. So why do you need to do this now? Because you have to change from the inside out. If you really want to change, you have to change from the inside out. But what happens if you start a new skill and you revert back to old ideas, of course you'll fail. But your ego will blame the new skills or the new ideas. It won't blame the old ones because that's part of the ego. And your ego will listen to bad advice, especially from family and friends or the wrong experts. And we have to remember, God love them, but our family and friends are our number one sabotage people. Why? If you change, it threatens them. If they're fat and they're miserable and you start dropping weight, it threatens them because they don't want to do it. So they'll go, oh, come on, have a piece of pie. Oh, you think you're better than us. Wah, wah, wah. And next thing you know, you're back to your old habits, right? And this is why you can learn from the addiction world, because people that recover from an addiction have to change a lot of things about their lives. And you have to remember, a lot of this is about your ego. And I always say ego stands for easing God out or eliminating good options. Based on, well, I always did it this way before. Yeah, but it's not working. And again, as I said earlier, the number one thing of the ego is, I'm not that bad. You'll always look for someone else worse. If you're an alcoholic or drug addict, you'll look for the person that's homeless or Skid Row. It'll keep getting worse. If you're overweight, you go, yeah, but I'm not as fat as Joe, or I'm not as fat as Betty. That's just ego talking. And ego gets us fat. And ego tries to keep us safe, but it can become your worst enemy. Because the first thing you have to do is realize the scope of the problem and get correct information. Let go of the old mindset. Be open to change. And then you have to personalize your plan. What does that mean? Let go of knowing. Just put together a new plan. Stay in the basics. This is what you need to do. Overcome ego. Accept some new ideas. Decide on the new skills you're going to get. You need to get a mentor, someone you can trust, someone you can relate to. And then you need to make it natural. That's the secret. And in the ultimate fat loss for you, hypnosis for weight loss, we have new techniques, new information based on years of research and taking the best of the addiction world, where you see people totally reinvent themselves so they can live alcohol and drug free. We take those same skills, give them to you so you can live naturally thin. And we're going to have many, many titles within this program. Stop snacking, ideal body image, ultimate exercise motivator. How many people hate to exercise? There's a reason for that, and we're going to change that. That's going to be one of the biggest parts of it. Metabolizer, in other words, how to up your metabolizing using the power of your mind. Portion control. Do you eat too much? Do you eat, your portions are huge. And of course, in America, we judge restaurants maybe by how big the portions are, not how good the portions are. Do you have late night hunger? Do you eat late at night? We'll do a paleo session for people who want to do the paleo approach. We'll do a couple of stick to my diet sessions. Reinventing a new thin you. Easy weight loss. Stress relief, which is the #1 reason people gain weight. We're going to give you steel resolve. We're going to do levels of change for success. Beliefs of the naturally thin. What do they do different that other people don't? How to change your mind. How to focus for success. Fun without food. How to get a passion for life. The 1-inch change for success. That's a fun one. And that you can, and a lot of these isn't just about changing how you think about food. It's about changing your mind, taking control of your mind so you can be the person you want to be. And how to question yourself so you get ultimate success. We're going to use the Dickens pattern, which is a brilliant success program created by, or process created by my dear friend Tony Robbins, which can, if it's done right, and very few people know how to do it right, can propel you to the next level. We're going to do what I call the beef jerky session, which is basically healthy snacking if you're going to snack. And we're going to talk about human needs, which is one of the reasons why people get fat. And we're going to talk about emotions and meaning, which that's fascinating because nothing really has meaning or an emotion except what you give it. Yeah. And once you master that, in fact, if you start backwards, we do emotion and meaning, human needs, and a few of these others, the food becomes a non-issue. So we're going to have many more. You decide and you can customize it for yourself. And you can listen to 1 or 2 topics. And if you're still stuck, then you need a new approach. Then you need the whole program. You need to restructure into a new thin you. How to change from the inside out. To reinvent who you are. So, is it an addiction for you? Or is it just you eat too much? And the biggest question is, if you've tried and failed at dieting several times, you probably need a totally different approach. And so the first programs that I'm going to offer to the public is the Ultimate Snack Breaking Program, right? How to stop snacking. And it's going to have 2 recordings, a video much like this, but shorter, talk about why people snack and why people fail at stopping snacking, right? And then it's going to have 2 hypnosis recordings because there's 2 different types of snacking. And again, that's what you need to know. Maybe you have both, maybe you just have one. Of course, I would rather do both. And they're in the recording, so you might as well have it. And so when it's released to the public next week, the regular price is going to be $97, and today it's $47. And then when I have the whole program together, you can buy all of the programs, 24 titles, at a really good discounted rate. And so this entire program will alter you from the inside out. But I suggest, hey, start with 1 or 2 topics. Pay for 1, pay for 2, and when you see the change, or maybe you're going to notice it after today's fast little session on changing 1 food, then you may want to jump in and get the whole program. But only you can convince yourself now that this is the way to do it, to leave the pain behind, to jump in and go for it. So we're going to do the free mini session next, but what I want to stress to you is sign up today at my website, www.drwillhorton.com, drwillhorton.com, and there's a little thing there. It says Ultimate Fat Loss, and you'll get on the mailing list for Fat Loss. You'll see when the new titles are coming out, when the whole program is released, and things like that. So you want to make sure that you sign up today so we can have more fun. So now we're going to do our free session. But is hypnosis and NLP right for you? I don't know. I think it's right for everybody. Because if you can read a book or enjoy a movie, you can obviously use that part of your mind that hypnosis and NLP uses. In fact, the power of it is it bypasses the critical factors of the mind and changes you from the inside out. So is this right for you? So let's test it. Let's test it. So here we go. Think of your favorite snack food, just one. I remember I did this exercise with someone, a master hypnotist, and his thing was Snickers candy bars. And so, because he would do stage hypnosis, and it'd be late at night, and after a stage show, he'd be in a hotel, and nothing's open, nothing to eat. And he ended up getting like 2 or 3 Snickers candy bars and eating those before he went to sleep. Well, that's a recipe to get fat, and he knew it. And he could eat healthy other than these. One of his big things were these Snickers candy bars, right? So now what I want you to do is think of the food you want to get rid of, like my friend's Snickers candy bar. Got it? Great. Now, think of a food you dislike. You just don't like to eat it. Doesn't matter if it's good for you or not good for you. If I was doing this exercise, the food I dislike would be liver. I know it's good for me. My dad loved liver. I know it's healthy. You know, people take desiccated liver. Sometimes I take desiccated liver tablets, but I don't like eating liver. And we're going to use how your brain naturally works. That's why this program is so powerful. It's using how your brain actually works. So now think of the food you want to get rid of, your snack food, the first snack food. Now think of a food you dislike. Good. Now hypnosis is just a relaxed, calming method. That's it. We're going to bypass the critical factors of the mind. And people get confused. They think it has to be this long where you take 20 or 30 minutes to go there. If you watch a movie and you can get an instant reaction to Alien when the thing jumps out of the guy's chest, you were in an altered state. If you cried when Tom Hanks was on the desert island in Castaway and the beach ball floated away, you know, he was making $20 million for that film. It was filmed on a soundstage, but it looked real. And it was real to you. So your mind knows how to go there like that. But we're going to do a quick relaxation. So, of course, only listen to this part when you can give your whole undivided attention to what you're doing. Not, of course, when you're driving or using machinery or anything like that. But it's going to be very fast. One of the keys to what we do is we use speed to help us make changes. So take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. Now, with your eyes closed, lend me the use of your imagination and just imagine your eyes are loose and limp and relaxed. Good. Now what I want you to do, in a moment I'm going to have you open and close your eyes. When I say sleep, you close your eyes, your mind goes blank, your body goes limp, you go twice as deep as before. When I say sleep, you close your eyes. So open your eyes and sleep. Just relax, go deeper and deeper. We don't have to go into that really deep state that you see people do, maybe in a stage show or somewhere else. Just that droopy, drowsy, relaxed state. Now your eyes are so loose, so limp, so relaxed, they just don't work. Lend me use your imagination. Imagine everything's going to happen exactly the way I say. So your eyes are so relaxed they barely want to open them. Open them just a tiny bit and sleep. Good, good. Now, your eyes are glued shut, glued shut. Imagine they're so relaxed they just don't work. Imagine they're so relaxed they just won't work. Great. Now try to open your eyes, but you can't. Try, but you can't. The more you try, the more you can't. The more you try, the more you can't. Your eyebrows wiggle, but your eyes won't. That's right. And relax. Good. Now this is just a nice light relaxation. Exactly what we want to make the change that we're going to do. Now I want you to think about this food you want to get rid of. Think about the food that you no longer want to eat. And let it take a color, a shape, a sound, a feeling, right wherever it is. It'll take an image. And if you were surrounded with a grid pattern, it would take a location, maybe right in front of you, maybe to the left, maybe down. Maybe it's bigger than normal, maybe it's smaller. Maybe the colors are bright. Notice all those things. And even as you're imagining this vividly now, it kind of makes you want one. That's right. That's right. Good. Now, tell your brain it's okay. Just let this drift for a moment. Now, think about that food you dislike. It's easy for you to say no thank you, or you just don't eat it. Blech, I don't like that. Now, let that pop into your mind. Now, let it take a color, shape, sound, feeling. Good. And the location. It'll take a different location. Great. Now, what I want you to do is tell your brain it's okay. Bring back the snack food you want to get rid of. Now gently and easily begin to move it to the spot of the food you dislike. And as you do, very slowly in your mind, change the color, the flavor, the texture, the sound, the feeling. Slowly begin to move it. Tell your brain it's okay. Move it slowly to that part of your mind. That's right. Slowly, slowly, slowly. That's right. Till it goes down, till it's exactly like the food you dislike. Now lock it in down there. Lock it in, lock it in, lock it in. That's right. Good. Tell your brain it's okay. Now what I want you to do is just relax, take a deep breath, keep your eyes closed, and think about you have a part of your mind where things used to be true and now it's not. You used to live somewhere else, now you live where you live. Maybe you have a different car than you had a few years ago. So you used to drive that car, now you drive this car. So what I'd like you to do is now put that old food and that whole thing in that part of your mind that's no longer true for you. It used to be true and now it's not. Just leave it back there. It used to be true and now it's not. When you were a little kid, you used to believe in Santa Claus and you loved Santa Claus. And then you grew out of it. It was a quaint idea. What if you take that old food and it becomes like Santa Claus? It used to be true. It used to be quaint. You used to enjoy it. Now it's like, nah, not really. It's cute, but no thank you. Good. And other people can choose to believe, little kids, other people, and that's fine. Great. And now just keep relaxing. And I'm going to count from 1 to 5. With every number I count, just relax a little bit deeper. 1, relaxing more and more. 2, like a wave washing over your body and washing back down again. 3, that's right, a wave washing up over you and washing down. 4, that's right, another wave washes over and washes down. And 5, just let go. Just let go. Now, as a result of this deep hypnotic rest, you're going to feel physically stronger and fitter than you felt in a long, long time. And all of these suggestions go deeply into your subconscious mind and make a deep and lasting impression there. So deep, so lasting that nothing will erase it. Because it's what you want, what you need, what you desire, and you want it, wish it, and allow it to happen. So it goes right to that part of your mind. That's right. And because this is for you, no one can stop you from doing it. So even when this session's over, long after this session's over, it becomes a permanent part of you. With every beat of your heart and every breath that you take, it becomes stronger and stronger. So when you look to the future, you realize those things in the past no longer have to affect you. They're no longer appropriate for you. You can let them go, let them go, let them go, with a blessing for what they did at the time. It's not that they weren't right for you then, they're just not right for you now. And we do this all the time with many things in our lives, do we not? When you were a baby, you used to wet your pants, soil yourself. That's what babies do. Those of us who raise kids know that. But then you learn the proper behavior, and that old behavior is no longer appropriate, shameful. You don't want to do it. If you have an accident now, it's like, oh, what if food becomes like that? This snack food and other things become like that. That's right. And so because this is what you want, what you need, and what you desire, nothing can hold you back. That's right. Good. And only you can lock it in and convince yourself this is what you want, this is what you need, this is what you desire. Now. Good. Very good. Now what I'd like you to do is just think about this change, and with your eyes closed, just move your eyes around underneath your eyelids like you're looking up to the left, up to the right, down to the left, down to the right. Make a circle one way, make a circle the other way. That's right. Good. Now just relax. Tonight you're going to get the best night's sleep you've got in years. You're going to wake with clear eye and clear head. You're going to feel fabulous because you know you've finally gotten the secret. You know you finally figured out the way to really make this change. And you can't wait to attack the problem even more and to change even more from the inside out. Because as you begin to make these changes, it only grows through time. And now I'm going to count from 1 to 5 as you program yourself for success. Program yourself for success. At the count of 5, you're going to open your eyes and feel absolutely wonderful. 1, coming on up. 2, drifting to the surface. 3, wide awake, clear-headed and refreshed. 4, opening your eyes. 5, open your eyes. Come on back. Good. Look right here. Great, great, great. Now, just think about these changes. Now, again, look up to one side, look up to the other side, look straight down to one side, look down to the other side, look to this side, look to that side. Make a circle with your eyes one way, make a circle with your eyes another way. Good. Now look back here. You're doing great. Good. Now that was just a quick little intervention to change one thing. So you dream of being naturally thin, and do you really realize it's not your fault? You don't know what you don't know. And you know that they want to keep you fat. Maybe the diet industry, maybe food industry. You know there are certain people that suffer off your pain. Now look, I've been there. So together we can stop those people that profit from pain. So let's do this. Join me as we trudge the road to happy destiny and begin to make this change. And remember, being fat's not your fault, but you need to change your mind to change your body, because now is the time. So you can get this stop snacking session now. It's going to be a complete session, 2 sessions within it. So short video and then 2 hypnosis sessions. The regular price is going to be $97. I'm going to start it for $47. But sign up again and follow for more information. And like my page on Facebook, Dr. Will Horton. And also make sure you go to my website and sign up.